last leg of the Game Changer Seminar here in Houston. Like I said, we saved the best for last, right? Okay, yes, we have the best. Oh, there's the audio. Here we go. We saved the best for last. We have Misty with Podium. Misty is a marketing strategist, an event architect, and a brand builder. Misty is a result-driven marketing leader known for crafting high-impact go-to-market strategies and large-scale events. With a sharp eye for data and talent for leading cross-functional teams, she consistently delivers campaigns that expand reach and drive in real business results. Guys, I'm super excited. I've been keeping my eye on a handful of AI companies over the years, and I think there's only a few of them out there that really are going to, change the game. And I do believe Podium is one of them. And like I said, everything that we've talked to today leading up to this point is all about engagement. I mean, think about all the process changes that Ron's talked about, all of the data opportunities that Rob's gone through, the huge investment in just getting the perfect picture, all right? All of these things lead up to a conversation. And I will say, I can sell a car to someone in a conversation. I can't necessarily sell a car just to a name, phone number, and email address. And it is absolutely key to get as many conversations as we possibly can, because that's truly how we can move the needle. And Podium is doing exactly that. So if you guys give a big round of hand for Misty. Yeah.
All right, it is just me in the way between you and a baseball game. So I will make this quick and sweet. But like Jason said, I promise you don't want to skip out on hearing some of this content, because everything we've talked about today about getting the leads, getting the engagement is not going to matter if you do not have the ability to actually respond to those leads in a timely and effective manner. And the advancements that we've seen lately in AI have ultimately changed the game for that. So I work at Podium. A little bit about Podium, and I'll be super fast here, is it all started with a tire shop. No, it was not the top pink tire shop, but I feel like it adds a little flair. Our founder / CEO was in college and got a call from his dad who owned a tire shop. I was like, man, I'm so frustrated. I only get bad reviews. I have lots of positive experience with customers. I have more customers that come out happy than leave angry, but the only ones that care are the ones that go online to leave a bad review. And so he and our co-founder sat in their dorm and figured out a solution, which is what you all experience with at your dealership, at your hair salon, wherever you may go, where you get a response after you leave that place that says, hey, how'd we do? Leave us a review. Seems very, very simple. However, back then, that was a game changer. The idea of going to dealers and saying, hey, you should ask people to leave you reviews was like, no. Why would I ever ask my customer to leave a review? Only the people that leave reviews are people that are mad at me. But they actually found, no, that wasn't the case if you engaged with them. And ultimately was a game changer in a free way to boost your Google SEO scores and engage with your customers and show up higher, because you were getting people to respond and say they had a great experience at a dealership. And Podium has grown so much beyond that. We're a full end-to-end communication platform and really have invested in the past couple of years in AI. After inventing, and implementing reputation management, our founders went through Y Combinator with someone that you may have heard of, Sam Altman, who is the founder and CEO of OpenAI, the backers behind ChatGPT, maybe AI you've used all today, and really saw the opportunity that was there for small businesses and dealerships to be able to using that technology. So today, I'm going to be super quick. We're going to talk about some insights in how car dealers are viewing AI, what use cases you all can have for AI in your dealership, how to evaluate customer-facing AI products, and then if we have any questions, we can take them here, or we can go have them over at the ballpark. So I'm going to be super quick here, and I'll skip over, and I can share out some of this data that we have in here as well. But as you can see, right, we've gone from, in 1950, the first human versus machine test occurred, to in 2020, ChatGPT or GPT-3 scored the top 10% of an SAT, to right now where AI is everything. It may be the #1 coder in the world. It's able to do end-to-end tasks and go on and go forth that. And we've just seen that pace increasing every single day, honestly. What AI could do 3 months ago, 6 months ago, 9 months ago is not the same as to what it can do today. So staying up to speed is absolutely incredible. And for dealers, you all know this more than anybody because you're getting called by vendors every day saying, hey, have you heard about this thing called AI? It can change the way that your dealership functions. But oftentimes, dealers are left not knowing what to do, how to implement that AI, or how it's actually effective. So we surveyed 100 dealers. That's maybe their chief marketing officer, the GMs, the sales managers, and we got 3 takeaways. And like I said, I'm going to skip a bunch so that we can be quicker on time, but that showed us 3 things. 1, dealers need to get experience with AI tools. If you haven't done it yet, it's okay. You're behind. Let's catch up. Let's get experience and get engaged in it. 2, 2025 will be the year of increased AI investment for a lot of different reasons. And there's a lot of macroeconomic things happening. There's a lot of industry things happening that make investing in AI more critical now than ever. And 3, there's still widespread concerns about AI. It would be remiss to stand up here and say everything is going to be great. We're always going to have a great experience with AI. And we're going to talk about what some of those concerns are. The number one being loss of human touch and human experience in that. Brad talked about sales being like dating. You don't want to date a robot. We've seen that movie. It's a little weird. So let's talk about how you can have the best AI experience that can still provide high quality customer experience. So we're going to give some specific use cases for how AI can truly make an impact in your dealership. Our survey showed us that the top 5 goals for auto dealers to use AI was number 1 being responding to after hours leads. Ron said that when people are looking for a car, they spend 13.8 hours online. I don't know about you. I work a 40-hour work week, which means that those 13.8 hours are typically at night with my comfy jams, and I'm able to search online. No, you're not open at that time. So having the ability to have AI available 24/7 to respond to after-hour requests or something that comes in on a Sunday is critical. More time for office staff. Rob talked a lot about that and the power of CDPs and how your staff isn't able to do maybe what they were 15 years ago, and how can we augment and do different things with technology to take that weight off of their shoulders, make everyday tasks easier, automatically send messages to leads, and things like scheduling. So use case number 1, remove manual and tedious tasks from employees. I was talking to a dealer the other day and he was like, I'm really excited about AI. I've got a lot of older folks that work for me that they're a little skeptical. And I said, the number one thing I would say to them is, what is the number one thing you hate about your job? And figure out how AI can take that off your plate, because ultimately it can. Because it's probably something that's tedious, something that doesn't actually bring them in sales that they feel at least that it does, but it's still high important. So here's some examples. I talked about Podium as a reputation management company. So reviews is obviously a critical aspect to that. And responding to reviews is very, very important, but can be very tedious. And often leads to the person that's in your dealership that's in charge of responding to reviews, copying and pasting a very generalized response into all of those reviews. AI has the ability to personalize review invites. So we have a tool that then analyzes the customer's history by connecting to a CDP, by connecting to a CRM, DMS, and giving a tailored review invite saying, I know you bought this car. Thank you for coming in on this date. Please leave us a review. I hope that Gerald did a great job taking care of you. It drafts the response, then your team just has to review it and hit send, which means it's a personalized response, but that's that personalization at scale that ultimately makes it easier to have that one-to-one connection that will encourage them to leave a positive review to your dealership. And number 2, use AI to respond to reviews 2 times faster. We've harshed a lot on Google today. I'm with you. But there's also a lot of free ways to enhance your Google SEO scores. One of those being responding to reviews. If you have great reviews, but you're not engaging with any reviews, you're going to show lower than a dealer that has great reviews but is responding to those reviews. And there's certain characteristics that need to be in that response. Are you using certain keywords? Are you responding in a quickly and timely manner? AI takes all of that off your plate and can generate that personalized and professional response in seconds. We've even seen it can reduce review response times by 65% because it can automate but still provide that personalized one-to-one reaction. More than a third of dealerships are already using AI to support review collection for their business, so we've seen the use case. We've seen how effective it can be. The other thing it can do is boost your marketing efforts. If you work at a dealership, I would bet that your dealership sent out a marketing mass blast about tariffs in the last couple of weeks, whether that's we have a great sale, we have inventory now, we may not later. And we have Memorial Day coming up, a lot of holidays. And so those kind of mass blasts and bulk messages are critical, but it can also be very tedious to create that personalized messaging. And so Podium's AI can write marketing campaigns for you using high-performing campaign data, and helping ultimately 3 times, 4 times your response and click rates. So you can segment and create lists from your CDP, if you have one, or within your CMS, or however you want to segment your audiences, and tell AI, okay, this is the audience of people who have been to the website but haven't converted. How do we get them to convert with tariffs going on, and write messaging to help kind of do that, and have the marketing data to know what works best, or what doesn't. Because if you are an international dealer versus a Ford dealer, then you're going to have very different messaging about tariffs on there. So AI has the ability to personalize that and do all of that for you. Use case number 2, respond to every lead with quality and speed. I'm going to talk a lot about speed, but I think quality is something I really want to emphasize there. Your leads need you to be quick, or they will buy a car somewhere else. I think, Ron talked about how customers will visit 5.7 dealerships over 90 days when searching for a car. And so if those 5.7 dealers are faster to responding, the data shows us that ultimately they're going to have a higher likelihood of converting that lead, because 82% of consumers want an immediate response when they have a question. We are very selfish people. We think we are the most important people in the world, and that when we have a question, that it should have an immediate answer, and it should be personalized. And sometimes that's not possible. We're busy. Our sales team had a bad day. Someone called in sick. Everybody's sleeping because it's 1 a.m. in the morning, or it's a Sunday or holiday. And so consumers want that immediate response. 30% of consumers will buy from a competitor instead if the response is from a business is too slow. So that speed to lead is extremely important. There's actually an MIT lead response survey that shows that there's an 80% drop-off in likelihood of response based off of waiting 5 minutes versus 10 minutes. And so getting that to that lead quickly is ultimately very, very important. So there's a big opportunity here. 24% of dealerships use AI for scheduling right now, and 29% of dealerships use AI as an answering service. That's pretty low with the capabilities that are out there. And so you have a real opportunity that, since the use case is there, to have AI to be a game changer for you in beating the dealer down the street. Another thing that AI can do is help with lead management. So we've talked a lot about leads coming in from a variety of different sources. So whether that's your third-party leads, a text message, social media, AI has the ability to consolidate that. So maybe someone saw a car on social media, reached out there, then actually went to a third-party site and reached out there as well. AI's ability to consolidate those, put that in one place, and answer in a consistent and corrective manner based off maybe the different information that they have received there. So providing a cohesive conversation across all channels, and interacting with leads and customers, naturally engaging in a genuine two-way conversation, and adapting to user sentiment in real time. So, that concerns that dealers have about AI, that number one being was loss of the human touch. You can invest in AI solutions that don't actually do that. They have the ability to understand the sentiment of a tone or things that are messages that are being sent, to be able to understand, what the response should be, and should be able to have that empathetic approach to AI. AI makes your dealerships open 24/7. It responds instantly to any new inquiries, no matter the time. Doesn't take a vacation, doesn't take lunch breaks. It's on all of the time, and ultimately allows you to, we've talked about all of these leads coming in. If you have 500 leads coming in and you're only seeing a 10% conversion, right? Imagine just how much higher that would be if you were available 24/7 to answer all of those leads that are coming in. AI has the ability to have inventory awareness. So ultimately, AI is only as good as the data that it's backed behind. So connecting to all of your systems of record to be able to continue to drive that conversion and autonomy, instead of saying a lot of, I hear often the biggest thing I hear from dealers is like, well, I just don't want another chat bot that say, oh, let me go look at that and I'll get back to you. has the ability to connect to your inventory systems and immediately respond and say, yeah, that Ford F-150 is on the lot. Would love to have you come in and let's schedule a test drive, and immediately keep that lead moving forward. Use case number 3, follow up and source new leads. This is something we've talked obviously a lot about today. So keeping leads engaged to boost conversion rates. So not only responding to that lead, but then if it goes cold or nobody's responding, how do you engage in a way that is consistent? This is something I know every dealer wants their sales team to be doing, but is not feeling like they're doing enough because they're busy doing a bunch of other things. They have all these other leads. And so there's the scalable process that AI can consistently respond. And maybe your salesperson would have thought that was a bad lead or not an effective lead. AI doesn't care and will continuously engage with that. And eventually, maybe that bad lead turns into a good lead because there was a good conversation happening there. AI revenue mining. So, connecting your data to be able to re-engage customers with AI, whether that's connecting to them to try to get to purchase their used car, which we talked about the importance today, or connecting to your CDP to reach out when and understanding, oh, somebody's lease is ending soon. I should reach out to them and see if they want to re-engage or they need to come in for a service appointment, and being able to do all of that. So it doesn't have to connect to your CDP. It can connect to your CRM or your DMS and just kind of use that data, and you can set it up on any intervals that you want based off the segmented audiences and timeframes that you've used. So engaging customers in 90, 60, and 30-day intervals. Generate upsell opportunities, so automatically trigger in lease end, anniversary notifications, and then personalized lifecycle messaging. If you have their birthday, right? A nice little birthday message, or the day they bought the car, happy 1 year in your car. I hope you're enjoying it. Do you want to come in for an oil change? Things like that to be able to continuously outreach and connect with your customers. And then finally, use case number 4 is improve customer support. Nearly 2/3 of dealerships believe AI can provide even better customer experience for car shoppers. 65% of dealerships say they believe the AI will be able to do this, and there's a couple of ways that it can provide better customer service. One is ensure customers receive timely and accurate information, which I've talked about a little bit, is, connecting to your systems, responding quickly with accurate information. A lot of AI you can very easily train for frequently asked questions. How often does your BDC team or your internet team have to respond to, when are you open? Are you closed this day? I'm sure a lot of dealerships are getting questions about tariffs, right? You can train your AI and say, this is what I want you to say if somebody says, is tariffs going to make this car more expensive in a week, right? How can you train your AI to kind of surely and accurately respond to those informations and manage those common inquiries? And then boost the likelihood of retaining customers. Having a good experience, that's something that's quick, responsive, but engaging in a way will ultimately help those customers come back. Here's just a quote from one of our dealers that everyone believes that their AI employee is a real person. Their responses are human, understanding, nuanced, and the right level of keeping things lighthearted. I've talked to dealers that have had our AI employee's name is Jerry. You can name it whatever you want, but we start with Jerry. That Jerry has had flowers been brought in. Jerry has won employee of the month. There's a lot of different things. And so if your AI is not to that humanistic level, you need new AI because it's not meeting the needs of your customers and it's not approaching them in a way that is going to keep them coming into the dealership. Now, I talked a lot about at the beginning, there is a lot of calls for AI. There's a lot of AI vendors out there. You all are being bombarded with them every single day. And so how do you evaluate them? And advances in AI have helped ease the burden of all the things we've talked about today. But a lot of AI options only act as a co-pilot. They're only a chatbot. They're not able to take a task from start to finish. You're promised a lot of things from these vendors and then they leave. And you're left with something that's actually more of a hassle than it would have been to hire another employee. So number one is AI is only, I knew that was going to happen. AI is only as good as the platform it's built into. Does it connect to all of your systems, not just your CMS, not just your CRM or DMS, but can it connect to your website? Can it connect to your emails, Google, Instagram, all of those things, and bring it together to provide a consolidated 360-degree view of the customer to be able to ultimately answer questions and send invites to schedule and all of the different outcomes that you want to do. Rob talked a lot about the power of the data that's within CDPs. That data is incredible, but it's only actionable when you have the ability to put AI on top of it to take that data and ultimately make it into an action that helps somebody come into your dealership. So when you're meeting with these endless vendors, I would ask these questions to them. Is it goal-oriented? Does that mean, how have you trained this AI? Is it just generic AI that you're selling to businesses all over the country? Or is it trained in automotive, which means that it knows it's trying to schedule a test drive, trying to get them to come in for a dealership, trying to get them to ultimately buy a car? What is the technology behind it? What is the learning language model that they're using behind it? We're really proud at Podium to not only have patented technology, but have a really incredible partnership with OpenAI that we're working and talking to their product team every single day, and how we can continuously use the advancements that they have to make a better experience for our customers. Does it learn, right? Are you buying a solution that off the shelf that you bring into your dealership and it will always be the same? Or are you able to train it, right? Just as you would any other employee. What a dealer responds to in Philadelphia is very different than the voice and tone in maybe Los Angeles, right? How do you train your AI to sound like one of your employees? We have a used car dealer that only sells EVs. And in the beginning, he was like, yeah, it's okay. It does what I need it to do. It manages these leads and responds. But he's like, man, the way that we've trained it, it actually knows more about EVs than some of my salespeople do. And I'm able to copy and paste those answers and give them to my sales team and say, hey, this is how you should be answering. No, we didn't start by building an EV AI, but because that's our customer, we've worked to train it and have their AI, his name is Glow, been able to move forward and continue conversations about AEs or about EVs. How do you benchmark and test? How does your vendor benchmark and test? How do you provide feedback? What are the guardrails? How do you make sure an AI doesn't say that you can buy a $70,000 card on an Amex, which is a story Jason and I have heard, which is not a great experience. So what are the guardrails there to make sure that that doesn't happen? And what are the security risks? And this to me would be one of the number one questions I would ask. What's happening with that data that the AI is collecting? We're really proud at Podium. We work with auto dealers, but we also work with a lot of healthcare providers, which have very high regulations in terms of the data and the privacy that's there. And that's the same regulations that we approach to our auto dealers. And so, your data is not being sold. It's not being shared with any other dealers. It's completely private. And that's something that I would make sure is true of all of your vendors. How does it integrate? We talked about the importance of all of those integrations. Will it scale, provide that one-to-one communication? If I'm going to implement, I haven't yet, but will it be able to integrate to that? And then how do they support us? Am I going to buy this technology and then you're going to the onboarding process? And after we onboard, who do I talk to if I have issues, and anything like that, and just make sure that's really clear. And then I talked about this a little bit. Does it have deep vertical training? Is it trained for dealers? Is it trained for automotive? And how does it work? So these are just a few examples of Podium's AI versus some of the other guys who shall not be named, of maybe how we stand out a little bit. Is it goal focused, right? So instead of saying, hey, do you have an F-150? Yeah, please contact us by filling out another link, which is another touch point that inevitably, I'm lazy. I'd be like, no, I'm not doing that. Or is it engaging versus Jerry, who's saying, yeah, sure, here are 2 F-150s we have. Do these look good to you? Let's schedule a test drive. Is it built for collaboration? Your AI should not be siloed from the other team members on your floor, right? It should be a partnership, just like any other employee you would hire. So can it work side by side from your sales team? If your sales team sees, hey, this is a lead I've been working forever, I don't want to give it to Jerry, I'm going to take it over. They can immediately come in and then leave it and give it back to Jerry. Or how can Jerry raise a flag? Sometimes he doesn't know everything. We're working on it, but neither do you. So how can Jerry raise his hand and say, hey, I need help, and immediately get a response to then make sure that conversation is continued? So here's just another quote. Best decision we've ever made. He scheduled 11 test drives last night and has sold 600K in the last 3 weeks. So just really goes to show the power of having that 24/7 responses is really critical. So if you want to interview Jerry, feel free to text Game Changer to this number right here. or go to podium.com, and we've got a lot of other really great information there. So I went fast. I did my best. Any questions? Oh, and I'm going to bring up my good friend Sam, who will also be at the baseball game, and we're here to answer any questions that you may have. Watch Jerry be down. Mm-hmm. Jerry. So Jerry will connect. So Jerry's able to integrate to all of those tools through one integrations to them, but also your CRM.
Podium's backend is directly integrated. Rather, it's directly integrated into the CRM, but also into every single individual. The major, Vin, Reynolds, Focus, Socket. And yes, but we're pulling the lead from the third-party source itself.
Like revenue.
The revenue mining, sorry, you're. There's two parts. So you got your inbound leads, right? So if I send in a lead through Auto Trader. Yeah, it's pulling from the DMS. So the DMS is as Dealer Track, CDK, Reynolds, that's where we're pulling the information from. So if a lease is, there's triggers that turn Podium's Jerry on to send out a message via text or email from CDK, from the DMS. Fortellis. Yeah. Yes, I would, in a sense, yes. Yeah. I'm just a sleazy sales guy. You got to talk to one of our tech guys if you want to get too into it. I'm just kidding. Yeah, it's through Fortellis, right?
Wrong team.
Yeah.
We'll be over there. Feel free to chat at any point. I'll call one of the product guys.
Hey. Guys, the decks will be available after. We'll make sure that we post everything up there. So, hey guys, we've had an amazing afternoon listening to some real game changing strategies. So let's a big round of a hand, guys. Thank you. Thank you. And here's the thing. I think everything you guys have seen. Again, I made the comment earlier. It's not a matter of when you're gonna. It's not a matter if you're gonna do it. It's a matter of when you're gonna do it, right? Making that real commitment to your merchandising, making a commitment to the acquisition strategies, making a commitment to your lead engagement and your marketing. That is what's going to make you as a dealer a game changer. And you guys have heard from some companies out there that truly are, in my opinion, changing the game. And very, very excited to have everyone here. Thank you, everyone, for the live feed. If you're watching, we really appreciate you. All right, guys, we're going to take 2 minutes. What time is it? Actually, we'll take 5 minutes, and then we're going to over as a group. Okay.